Teaching When the World is on Fire is a book of authentic classroom advice found within essays written by multiple notable figures in education, edited by Lisa Delpit, the winner of the MacArthur Award and professor of education at Southern University and A&M College. In Delpit's introduction to her book, she describes her school experience through the civil rights movement, the Vietnam War, and the Cold War. Despite being a school-age child during these difficult times, Delpit states, "There was a sense that for all that horror, all the fear, all the injustice, there was always someone higher up watching with disapproval. There were allies who wanted to help right indescribable wrongs. There were those who would denounce hatred and its repercussions. There were those who would physically protect the attacked. There were those who knew better." As teachers, we must be the ones who know better. We must advocate for our students who are facing adversity. Our students look to us for resources, help, and education, and they see us as role models. Our students will notice what we stay silent about. Our students will notice what we prioritize even if we don't speak about it. Our students will notice how we use our voice. Delpit says, "Our children are in trouble, and we want to save them. We want to provide them with shelter, but given the larger societal chaos, what can we do? For our students, we must be the ones who know better." Pedro A. Noguera, a professor of education, sociologist, author, and director for the Center of Transformation of Schools at UCLA, writes an essay responding to the threat of school shootings in the United States. According to Noguera, in the first 3 months of 2018, there were 17 school shootings that affected students kindergarten through college age, where at least one person was either killed or injured. According to PBS.org, the U.S. is setting a record pace for mass killings in 2023, taking 88 lives over 111 days. Former President Trump called for teachers to be armed, even though there are several reports of school personnel misusing weapons and some injuring children, according to Noguera. In May 2018, the Associated Press reported several incidences of this nature. A school police officer accidentally firing his gun in Virginia sent a bullet through the wall of a middle school classroom. A teacher in California was demonstrating firearm safety when accidentally firing his gun into the ceiling, which resulted in the injuries of 3 students. In Michigan, a sheriff left a loaded gun in a locker room, which was later found by a 6th grade student. In Minnesota, a 3rd grade student pulled the trigger of a gun that was in the holster of the school resource officer. Noguera presents a unique perspective that addresses these issues quite well. He says that in the Declaration of Independence, we are promised the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yet these rights are being taken from children seemingly every day. On March 29th, NPR reported that 74 people have been killed or injured by guns at American schools in the year of 2023 alone. 43,450 children experienced school shootings in 2022 alone. As teachers, what are we to do? We can vote, but we can't change the law, and we certainly can't predict the future. So what are we supposed to do to protect the lives of our students? We can be the ones who know better. Before being able to answer the question of what should we do, we must first try to understand the nature of these instances. Mass shootings are typically carried out by white, middle-class aggressors who have multiple legally purchased firearms. Additionally, there is a consistent link between mass shootings and bullying victims who are alienated and have access to guns. The response we've seen in this country typically involves modifications to school systems. In our lifetime, we've seen our schools be transformed from warm, welcoming environments to cold, prison-like conditions. Schools have several locked doors where you must be buzzed in before entering. As teachers, we are taught to always keep our door locked, and we also have been given secondary measures of securing our doors, such as Z-locks and magnetic strips. We even have designated police officers in our hallways. Noguera suggests a different resource that we can use to combat the threat of mass shootings in our schools that is beyond fear. The resource is trust. Noguera comparatively tells about the Ebola epidemic and what was done during this time. There was not accessible health care in the areas where Ebola was most rampant. Health experts went to the epicenter and taught locals how to care for the sick and for the dead. A healthcare system was installed where there previously was none, and the Ebola crisis was dissolved. Noguera poses the question, if trust and education can be used as resources to stop the spread of a deadly disease, can similar strategies be used to address the threat of gun violence in schools? Could a tailored, on-the-ground effort that not only builds trust but seeks answers and solutions with and by the people closest to the problem be effective in making schools safer? Considering the nature of these crimes, it's not surprising that Nogueira suggests trust as a resource to stop the threat of gun violence. We must recognize alternatives to arming teachers and increasing the presence of guns in school. Whenever possible, we should offer our students counseling, but more reliably, we have to build relationships with our students on the foundation of trust. When we present ourselves and our classrooms as safe spaces for students, we create environments that actively work against gun violence. Yes, the resource of trust is not tangible, nor does it promise immunity from the threat of gun violence, but it is our best resource that we have as teachers. Not one of us can single-handedly end gun violence in schools, but we can do our part to create environments of love and trust for our students. As teachers, we must be the ones who know better.